season. So tomorrow night's upload is going to be super simple. It's all about lighting inside of you, those of you that are doing. There's no bloopers on a live one, right? Those of you that are doing the van life. This next one is all about the lighting. The lighting is super simple. I see a lot of people online doing like wiring inside their van builds. I didn't do wiring inside of mine. I tried to avoid that at all costs because I had seen online how people had fires. So what I did was I got a lighting that you plug into your USB and then you can put it on top of the ceiling. It's super simple to install. I'm going to show that on the channel tomorrow night. It's going to be like the easiest upload we've ever done. But also what we're going to do, Raymond and I are going to kind of give everybody the idea of what we're going to be doing next on the channel and where we're headed to. We're going to be working in Sedona for about, I would say till December 25th is the goal, to make a good chunk of money to go back to Florida with, because I would love to stay in Sedona, truthfully, but I've got some family obligations that I want to, stay by my word with. So I'm going to be headed down there, and then whatever happens with that happens. And then, got some work opportunities at a gym out there. So I'll be working out there, hopefully stacking cash if I'm making the money in the gym like I want to. Or maybe the screenplay is going to sell, So that would be awesome. I'm super hopeful about the opportunities that have been presented as far as what I can do with trying to sell the movie. It's called The Last Vigilante. And truthfully, if it were up to me, I would have Jason Momoa be the protagonist. I would have, why can I not think of his name? Bryan Cranston be the priest, who's also a protagonist. And then I would have the antagonist be Danny Trejo, because I feel like he would play the perfect villain in this movie that I wrote. So that would be like my dream. Well, my dream would be to sell the screenplay, but if like I could manifest like how to make it happen, that's what I would want. I feel like that lineup of actors would be the perfect energy for the way the characters work. And Bryan Cranston's great at, one thing I notice about that guy's acting that I really, really respect and appreciate is the transition that he went from comedy, which I know a lot of actors do, but the transition of comedy to Breaking Bad. And you could, with what's the it's a lot of times when I'm like talking about something I'm super passionate about, I'll forget because I get so excited. But he was in that comedy series, and then he transitioned into Breaking Bad. And you could almost see the elements of that character, at least I could, in Breaking Bad when he was that goofy teacher, and then he turned into this monstrous, but like torn human being that let the dark side of himself take over the good, even though his motives started out good. And yeah, it's so that would be like, I feel like he could play the perfect protagonist for the movie that I wrote, and I would love to. That would be like, I'd be in heaven if I'd seen that. Soph Allen, hey, hello, Soph Allen. Am I saying your name correctly? Number one, number two. If not, I apologize, and if I am, that is a sweet name, and it's not a common name I've seen in the United States. So, why don't you tell me where you're from? And I'll tell you real quick why I'm waiting on the response, what this channel is about. This is a channel for entertainment and art. And I wanted to get the channel to grow. So I had bought some YouTube, how to build your content on YouTube literature. And they had said, you want to do a how-to series. So I did a how-to. I absolutely support Israel. And Soph Allen, you need lots of prayers at the moment. All right, man, you're in my thoughts and my prayers. I hope everything's okay. I don't want to ask and get too personal, you know what I mean? But I'll put you in my prayers for sure. Of course, I support Israel. Like, Israel is Jacob is the original name, right? If I'm not mistaken, if it's a Christian, I'm not trying to create any type of like, you know, controversy or talk politics or religion, but Jacob's the original name of Israel. So, at least metaphorically, from according to the Bible standpoint. So back to the screenplay. Support Palestine. All right. I'm from Indonesia. Support Palestine. Okay, support Palestine. My mom has cancer, and that's all right, bro. I got. That's yeah. All right, dude. I got you in my prayers for real. Let hit. What's up, dude? Comedy is hard. That one that shocked me was the Kevin Costner as a bad guy in 3,000 Miles to Graceland. That was an amazing movie. That is a classic. I don't know how that doesn't get played all the time. That was Kevin Costner and what's his Con Air. He played in Con Air. What was it? I don't know why I can't. Well, of course, I know why I can't think of it because it's. I was just talking about that actor yesterday too. So anyhow, I think the most amazing. Well, I don't want to spoil 3,000 Miles to Graceland, but that twist at the end, dude. I don't want to say it, but it was unbelievable. It was incredible. It was incredible. The way they did that with the writing, and that I remember when I watched that movie as a kid, I was like, that is the most amazing way to end that movie ever. So, but yeah, there's a couple things I want to talk about today on the live feed. So tomorrow's live feed obviously is going to be into lighting, and I'm looking forward to doing that. And that should be a real simple upload, real simple editing, music, but I'm going to try to come up with some content to talk about for the future on tomorrow's episode as well. We're getting near the end of the projects in the Transit Connect build, so we're going to have to come up with a how-to. I mean, obviously, we got the how-to build an air conditioner from scratch for under $100. It's a mini air conditioner that runs on a 12 volt energy source, so that'll be good for people. I think it'll help people out as long as I can get the thing working right, which I believe that I can. It's actually not too hard. So it'll use a Peltier cooling system, so that'll be the next how-to series. And then after that, we're going to do a how-to stay in shape while doing the van life. I'll do like kettlebell and sled work exercises, basic band work for stretching, all that kinds of stuff. I've been doing a lot of stretching yogic stretches with bands, and that helps with mobility and flexibility and energy and because like I tell you, one of the things, if you're doing the van life, and people know this that do it, you're going to be moving around in ways that are like, you feel stiff if you're older, like us old folks, and when you move around and twist and stuff, it's a little bit more convenient when you're flexible and mobile and stronger, and the bands and stuff like that will help with that. So we'll do a series on that for sure. Also, what else are we looking at here? Let's do this real quick. I'm going to come into this computer so it doesn't keep going down on me. All right. Let me think what else. I'm trying not to say all the time. It's unprofessional when you're doing film and radio. It does sound better when you can consistently say things that are not repetitive and words like so, all that fun stuff. Would I be able to get a refill on my coffee? Just a warm up? You're the best. Sorry to bug you. I'm just doing a live feed right now. I'm at my favorite restaurant right now, by the way. It's Denny's. I love Denny's. I'm a huge fan, huge supporter of Denny's. Leadhead, how's things been, man? You got any plans for the holidays? What are you doing? You going, you visiting family for Thanksgiving, Christmas, anything like that? I'm going to be working like crazy. I just found out they need somebody on second shift in where I'm working in Arizona, so I'm going to try to get some, like, I'm going to get the, Thanksgiving Eve and Thanksgiving Day to work so I can get some extra cash. Just family stuff? Or right on. Hey, I wanted to ask you, in your picture you got a dog. What kind of dog is that? Is that your dog? Thank you so much. You're the best. So, oh, you know what? There was some wild stuff that happened. Uh, so I went for a hike in. I went for a hike by Devil's Bridge, is the name of the place, and I walked down. It was beautiful, man. It was like very, very. It went up just like that on and then the trails were individual on the hill. So you were coming at it at like a side angle though. So it was just like cut, and there was these beautiful trees that they looked like they were dead. They were gray, and the branches went out, and they had green leaves on them. And then there was like it looked like candle wax wrapped up the tree. So cool. This looks like bad UFO footage. I'm not a UFO. So. Oh, you're talking about that? That's the light outside of Denny's, man. I'm not a UFO. I mean, I like that stuff, but yeah, I'm not like a UFO channel. You know what I mean? So anyhow, I was hiking and I went down, and then I had like an hour until it was going to, or no, I had like a half hour left till it was going to be dark. And I'm like, I've already been walking for a half hour. So that means by the time I get back to the area where I was parked, it's going to have to be, oh my gosh, this is what's crazy. That's so wild that we just had synchronicity. I know I've talked about that with Carl Jung. So yeah, that's a German Shepherd working lunch. So check this out. Ready? So I'm coming back, and I see this group of young kids go back down into the desert. And I'm like, man, I don't think they're from around here, because there's literally the area I was in, there was mountain lion, there's black bear, there's coyote, which always attack in packs. There's like, and there was like big mountain lions, and the guys who worked in the park literally told me, they were like, yeah, we're from Arizona and you won't see us out there at night. Like it's time to go. And I'm like, okay. So I was getting out of there, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go back in and hike with a flashlight. Like, okay, whatever. Because I wanted to, like, I felt like I was like, nah, I had my piece on me, and then I start walking back into the area, and it's like getting darker and darker and darker, and I got my flashlight on me. I'm like, okay, it's pretty dark. I'm gonna turn back around and go back to my car. I got my adrenaline rush. I hiked at night, like, and then I'm going back. I took this sweet picture of the tree and the sun. And what I'll do is I'll put that picture on the community post, you guys, so everybody can check it out and see how beautiful the area was. It was so gorgeous, and the way the rays hit, it looked like it was like peach rays behind like a light blue sky shooting as the sun went down. It was pretty amazing. So I start going back and see this group of like 20-year-olds, right? And I'm sure going to like party or whatever. And I'm like, man, those guys are nuts, you know? And I go back up, and all of a sudden, like out of my peripheral, like, it looks like something darts in front of me, and I'm like, what was that? And I look over, and there's a coyote, and this coyote was as big as a German Shepherd. And that's why I said the synchronicity led hit. It was because it was the size of a German Shepherd, and it just stops and looks at me. And I was like, huh. So I flashed my flashlight and kind of walked a little bit, and it went to like the east. I'm like, so I kind of followed it, like, but it was like seducing in the way that you wanted to follow it. Like it was weird. It was like telling you, like, hey, over here, over here, over here. And then I remembered that somebody told me that coyotes do that when there's a pack of them around. And what they do is they use one of the pack to get your attention and get you to focus and follow them. And then while you're doing that, around you is other coyotes, and then they attack you when you're not looking. They're really, really, really smart hunters. And I was like, and I realized it, like, because it kept like drawing me deeper into the wilderness, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's probably other coyotes around. So, and then it's going right in the direction where those 20-year-olds were walking. It was like 4 guys, and I'm like, and it's dark now. It's dark, and I'm like, I can't let those. I can't not say anything to those guys. So I go back down, and I see him, and I'm like, hey guys, just so you know, you got a coyote following exactly where you were, and there's always packs of them, and you probably want to get out of here because it's nighttime, and one's like, oh, we'll be the first to die, like joking around, like a typical 20-year-old would say, like, you don't care about anything when you're 20 as a guy, you're like invincible, nothing bad can happen to you. And then this one man walks up to me, he's like in his 40s, and he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, he was from Asia or Japan or somewhere, like, he's like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I'm like, well, this is what I mean. I go, I have a gun and I'm not staying out here, and it's scary. You can't be walking around here at nighttime. He's like, I never thought of that. Oh, can I please go with you, sir? And I go, yeah. I'm getting out of here. So I told the 20-year-old, I was like, hey guys, like, you probably want to get out of here. There's a pack of coyote around for sure. And so the guy follows me up. He's like, thank you, sir. I really appreciate it. I go, oh yeah, you're very welcome, man. Like, just, stay safe. You shouldn't, if you're going to hike at nighttime, you gotta be like prepared. So, yeah. So I got out of there, but the coyote was huge. I mean, its tail was like, its tail was like this long, and it was super puffy. What's up, CC Motion 1990? Is that Creedence Clearwater Motion 1998? Is that why you picked CC? I can't remember if I asked you before or not. So anyhow, yeah, that was that was a crazy coyote encounter. So, but what was really cool though is like, what was like crazy is like, you'd put the light at their eyes, and it had green eyes. I mean, it just some flash green, like, how cats have that, like, that crazy color when you go up, but it was wild, man. It was pretty cool. So, but yeah, that happened like 2 weeks ago, and then I'm going to be going, in 2 weeks for sure. I'm doing the Grand Canyon hike down the South Rim on Bright Angel Trail. The goal is 7 miles down, 7 miles back up. I mean, I really, really want to meet that goal. I think I can. I feel like I'm physically prepared. I've physically prepared myself. I'm acclimated to the air out here in Arizona now, so it should be something that's very feasible and gets conquered. You know what I mean? I'm really, really looking forward to it. So let's see. Well, you can do it. You can do it. It made me think of that Adam Sandler movie, which is amazing. You can do it. Let me think what else. Now, told you about the movie script, the screenplay. Oh, I was going to do, what do you guys think? I was going to do a reading of the screenplay, like the first couple pages, just to give an idea kind of what it's about, and like maybe get some feedback from people that are not biased and know me online, but don't like know me personally to where they don't want to give me negative feedback or whatever. I think that would help me out a lot, to get some feedback. So I was going to do that in a couple days on some live feeds. Yeah. So also with the screenplay, the next contest is due by December 15th. But I'm going to do it by December 8th and get it done because it's my birthday. It'd be like a present to myself to send in that screenplay, the rewrite of The Last Vigilante. Maybe do some shorts of that. All right. What the heck, right? As long as I know it's copywritten. Anything that you put on YouTube, that's part of the reason I'm doing it too, is automatically copywritten. Automatically if it's from your channel. So, and I already have it copywritten through the copyright.gov, so I'm good on that. So what else is up with everybody, man? How's your week's been? Any new adventures, anything online that you find entertaining? I know there was the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. People were like, oh, it was rigged. Here's how you know it's not rigged. One, Mike is just too old, and two, Jake Paul is not any good. You can't rig being bad at something and being too old. You just can't do it. You could see in the movements, and so yeah, I think that's. And then the Stipe Jones fight, man, I was so. What's BRB? I don't know what BRB is. The Stipe Jones fight was for me really, really disappointing. I really wanted to see Stipe win and go out as the greatest of all time. But in my eyes, Jones is a cheat, so they can say he's the greatest of all time. But that guy's also been popped more times for steroids in the UFC while being in the organization than anybody else, if I'm not mistaken. He got popped more than anybody, and they try to say, "Oh, there's picogram." That just means he cycled it wrong. But yeah, what I'd personally like to see is him just retire because he's a cheat. Nobody likes cheaters. All right, let me think. What can we discuss? I don't want to be not like. Let me tell you. Okay, so one of the things that I put on the live feed is why happiness for what why the van life generates happiness for some and not for others. So number one, there's a certain feeling you get when you build something from scratch that was all you, and you came up with the ideas for it, and you got the material, paid for the material, put in the labor. When you lay down or relax or sit or whatever inside that, it's really unique. You feel very connected to like the idea that you did something that you set your mind to, and it's a great feeling. It's a relaxing feeling, and then it's designed how you want it. Like, and then the other part is you don't have to do anything to code. You don't have to worry about building the walls with only, 1 inch by 2 inch studs, and then it's not up to code. The electric, the framing, the plumbing, all that stuff. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. So that's nice because you don't have to pay more money to go and get that done. So it's like some financial freedom is there as well. And then, you know, people, like, I see a lot of people up there like, oh, there's no freedom like the van life. It's like, well, I just, for me, I love the van life, and it's freeing for me. But like, that's not going to be like that for everybody, I don't think. People, some people, what's freeing is going to work and then looking forward to that sports game or that concert that's coming up on the weekend that they paid for, and it's freeing to go home and clean their house and then sit in front of the TV, or it's freeing to go out and start a family and go to games, or take your kids to church and experience marriage. And then it's freeing to some people to stay single and just you know go on vacations once or twice a year. That's just as equally as freeing, because I've done the vacation stuff. I've done the van life. I've done the 9 to 5 life. I've done the, like, I'm not following the system ever life. And it's definitely, for some people, it's really freeing. And I think for other people, they might have an expectation because people will put online, like, oh, this is the way to be, and da 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 da. And I mean, so I can tell you, have I thought of doing any kind of homesteading? What is home? I don't know what homesteading is. I'd have to look that up. Um, but I do want to get one piece of property that I can, like, stay at during the winter in Florida. That would make things easier. So, for some people, like, here's the thing. here's the thing about the van life for sure. Like you do have to worry about like the knock. You have to worry that somebody is going to be not wanting you to stay there and get you out of there because there's like a sense of urgency when you go to bed. It's not the greatest feeling in the world, but you know, again, like I think how you do your build, like I chose a Transit Connect and I don't have any solar panels on it, and it looks like just a car. It doesn't look like something somebody's sleeping in. Like a lot of them, like that's red flag right away, man. Any city limit, any police officer, as soon as they see those solar panels, they know. They're like, oh yeah, because people will mount them on top of their vehicle, and you can get portable solar. That's what I'm getting in a couple weeks. You get an electric generator that's solar, and then you plug it in whenever you want the power that you want to get, and so. And then there's a little bit of work involved in it. Like you have to have a super strict routine, otherwise it will get trashed so fast because there's not a lot of room. Even in a bus, like I did the bus, a 40-foot bus, and another thing is you're gonna repair stuff a lot. Even though like you can frame it in perfectly. You can pay a bunch of money to have a carpenter do it or however you do it. Like. So the thing about housing is the only thing that really moves is like, and even then is like the foundation, but that takes like 50 years for it to adjust. The wood gets older, so it gets a little bit on the what do you call it? The bowed side and all that stuff. When you're driving, that is constant movement. So you're going to be constantly doing little tiny repairs all the time. So, and that can get annoying. I don't care because I've been through it so many times. I'm like, whatever, it's going to happen. It's going to move. It's going to shift. Now, and it teaches you things like you can learn how to do home, which you can do that with a home too. So it's not necessarily strict just to the people that are doing the van life. Now, one of the downsides, like, and this, it should be said, like, if you get in a car accident, you're fucked. Like, if somebody smashes into your vehicle and you are not able to, there's sample videos on the TV. I gotta stop looking at it. So, they smash that, you're in big trouble, and you've got to have a good chunk of change stored away. So if you got to get a repair or whatever, like, and that's the other thing. If you break down, you got to consider breaking down. If you do electrical wiring, and I've said this a million times, like you can have it start on fire, and if your vehicle starts on fire. Yes, please. If your vehicle starts on fire, you're definitely in deep shit. So, and I don't know if the insurance companies, if you're living unless you have van build insurance, which they do make insurance companies for it. They did a couple years ago. I don't know if they do it now for like the van life and the schoolies. But if you're doing that, you got to consider that like the insurance is not gonna fucking cover that, man. Like they're not going to cover your van build. And I don't know what the laws and the stipulations are as far as them having to cover something like that. Like if that was your fault, like, and it's obviously your fault because like the wiring was goofy. So, it's like anything. It's a hit or miss. It's almost, I mean, truthfully, it is safer to stay in in an apartment or a house because, well, the house, you got to pay house insurance. So you got to be in a certain financial class, but an apartment is kind of like if something goes wrong, but then you got to put up with, like I've had to put up with, you got to put up scummy landlords, just total pieces of garbage, people that will not do it unless you threaten, like fix things, unless you threaten to get a lawyer involved, or it's something that could like be detrimental to health and you could call the health department, then they'll do something. Like, so I think it's for an individual. It takes a certain personality type for me to be able to sustain living on the road like that, because you got to have a sense of danger that's exciting to be able to know all that stuff and still think it's a good idea. Yeah. And then there's the other thing, where you get injured. And I've said it another, you need a health problem or something like that, but it'd be no different than having a health problem in an apartment or a house. Like, oh, well, you depend on family. You can't depend on family, man. You can't depend on anybody but yourself. That's really it. And when it's time to hang it, it's time to hang it up. And I can tell you, like, I was gonna do this interview, and I was totally dependent on seeing this guy, and they do my van build, and then it would help me with subscriptions on my channel, and that way I could help people that were doing the van life with the how-to videos. And then the lady was totally irresponsible with the way she scheduled it, and it totally. She's like, "Oh, we can do it in January." It's like, well, wait a second, like. I drove 3,000 miles. I'm not doing it in January because I got to be in Florida at work. So it's like, the unpredictable is always there, whether you're doing the van life or you're not. But here's like the pros of the van life. If you work 40 hours a week, you save a lot of money. You get to relax a lot more because you don't really have a lot of obligations to do anything. You just get to chill and read or work on creative stuff. Like, I thank you so much. Like I have, or you get to, if you got some financial bends that you got to take care of, like any type of debt, that's a great way to take care of your debt is when you're doing the fan life. You can work full time and for a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. Just know you're gonna pick ups. But I like it. I like it. Get to do more of the life part. Well, like get to do more of the life part. Well, like here's the thing, like you do. You really do get to do more of the life part. But you really do get to do more of the life part. But there's a little bit more stress because you don't have regimen, and the central nervous system in human beings is set up to have regimen. Like your circadian rhythm is built on regimen, so that means your sleep cycles are built on regimen, all these things. So yeah, you get to do the spontaneous part of life more, but it's more chaotic and unorganized when you live like that. So it just depends. Some people, they can't live like that. Like they have to have structure, organization, doing the same things all the time. If they don't, they go bonkers. So those type of people, I recommend, like, even if you're tired of the structure, if you do the van life, it might not be for you. But they say most people will break after a year of not doing this. I'm sorry, there's another fat little cute animal on the TV. Oh my god, it's a sea lion just laying there. Anyhow, so they say, like, most people break after a year, and I can tell you, like, it takes a year to really get used to the van life. It really does. It took me a year, and when I say it took a year, like, and you got your regiment down, and yeah, it's different. It's worth it for sure. I would also like Arizona, it's super accepted. California, it's super accepted. Um, Ohio, it's not like, I know it's on people who do the van life. That's another thing. If you're going to do ordinances, what you want to do is you can get, it's called F2. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I don't know why I was doing that. It seems like, I don't know. I'm not going to get into like conspiracy theory stuff the more I talk about telling people to do van life. But I'm not telling people to do van life. I'm saying it's not for everybody, but it's for me. It's brought me happiness because, again, I like, it's just an easier regimen of living. Like, I don't like the cleaning. Like, when I clean, it takes 10 seconds. It's amazing. The only thing that kind of sucks is, like, you have to do more laundry than usual, because if you get two pieces of dirty clothing, it like piles up real quick, and you're like, you don't want your clothes to smell up your car. So, like, you're at the laundromat pretty often, which can cost a little bit more money because, like, I really stuff a lot of clothes into like the big loads, and make it easier on myself that way, you know. And I you know, I just I like it. It's better for me, man. I have a lot more peace. And look, when I go to work, like I work at a gas station, right? And I make 15.50 an hour. So it's like equal to making like 23, $24 an hour because I don't have to pay out on all these bills. It's equal to like as if I lived paying out all those bills and made 23, $24 an hour. And you can't get a job just making 23, $24 an hour unless you have a college degree. And even then, you have to build your way up the hierarchy of the workforce of wherever you're working. You're not going to start out at a job where you make all that money unless you're a union tradesman, which even then, and working in the trades in Ohio, I don't know how it is in other states, some of the biggest, mouthiest punks that have never really been smacked in their fucking mouth will run their mouths on a job site and say things to you when you're working that I would never say to anybody unless I wanted to fight. Like that's the type of idiots that you're going to meet in the trades in Ohio. And then they'll be like, "Oh, you're not a man. You can't." It's like, no, dude, I'm so much of a man. I'm gonna fucking bury you if you keep running your mouth like that. Like some of the worst people I've ever met in my life come out of the trades. Doesn't mean all tradesmen are like that. My good buddy Neil, who's actually based off Father Corrigan, he's a plumber. He's one of the best human beings I've ever met in my life. But he doesn't talk that way to people. You know what I mean? So. But yeah, you can make money on the trades doing that. But even then, okay, so then you go get a house, right? Then you got this 30-year payment that the bank owns, just like my car. The bank owns my car, but I'm really adamant about paying that off in the next 4 years, and can't wait to have an opportunity to buy some property so I can post up my van there. And it's nice to be able to work for 15.50 an hour and be able to save a bunch of money every month. Like that's like, I mean, just like saying it, I get relief. Like somebody's sitting off of my chest. When I was in Ohio, I was working 3 jobs, and the amount of stress. I was on medicine. I mean, it was crazy, man. Things were absolutely nuts, and it was so I could pay bills. It was so I could pay bills. That was why. And it's like everybody has to pay bills. I get that, but the way money is not distributed for human beings at work and like so, what could I say? I don't want to go on a soapbox, but like so unequal. It's crazy. You know what? That's funny you saying that you can save and invest some money. So I just started learning about the stock market. I got a book on it, and everybody says it's really confusing. So I'm really looking forward to like learning about it. And I've been learning about it, and I know there's some stock that I want to invest in already. It's $25 a share right now, and I think in 10, 15 years it's going to be worth way more. But I'm really looking forward to learning the stock market and investing in that. And like I can doing the van. I have the money to do it. Like I can go take some of my money and invest it in the stock. I still shop at Goodwill. Like, dude, check these badass shoes out I got from Goodwill recently. Open up a hood account. What's a hood account? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that means. I know the book I'm reading. I opened up. What did I open up? A Webbull account, and they sent me a Robinhood. Where do you get a Robinhood at? So check these out. I got these from Goodwill. $10 and they're Adidas. And they're badass, man. They're like, dude, they're new. They were new shoes, man. $10. So Ally Bank. You know what? I have Ally through my loan with my vehicle. Dude, I wish you guys could see these videos. Actually, I could show them to you, but nobody wants to see cat videos. There's some really good music on at Denny's right now. 0 free to open with Ally Bank. I've got a bunch of banks. What is it, if you don't mind me asking, like what's it gonna do if I open an Ally Bank account? Like what do you do? Is it add to stock or whatever? trade account with them? Is trade a stock market account? Okay, cool. I'll write that down. Well, listen, I'll just go do it right now. So I'm probably going to roll out. Appreciate you paying attention. I can't believe I talked for 42 minutes straight. All right, everybody. Well, let hit. It's just me and you, man. All right, dude. So I'm going to take off. I'm going to go open that account right now, and I'll see everybody in a couple days. Later.